August of 2016, I did enroll into Grand Canyon University into their graduate certificate program. I decided to do the graduate certificate program, one, to see if I could be dedicated. The other 3 times that I tried, there were online classes, and I didn't have the dedication there. I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't have the dedication there. So I was like, you know what, let me see if I have it there, because even though I wanted to go to school on campus, it just wasn't gonna work out. So I had to make sure that I was able to commit. So I didn't tell anyone because I wanted to make sure this was something that I really wanted to do for myself. I wanted to make sure that I would be committed to it. So I was like, you know what, let me just try. So the graduate certificate consisted of 4 classes. So I'm like, you know what, let me just see if I can do it. I had a few stumbling blocks, as with anything. But you know what, I pushed through, and I started that August of 2016. April of 2017, I graduated from Grand Canyon with a graduate certificate in life coaching.
Never say never, never say it, never say it. I never thought that I could feel this power. I never thought.
Guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for taking the time out to click the link and to watch this video. So today I wanted to share with you guys my experience on going back to college, as well as just sharing some tips and some suggestions that I found helpful throughout this process. So I received my bachelor's degree in criminal justice in 2010. And at that point, you know, I crossed school out. I said I didn't want to go back to school. It was, you know, it was different. It wasn't because I didn't enjoy school, but I had just became a mother. I'd given birth to my son May of 2010, and I graduated June of 2010. So you can pretty much figure out how that how that went. So I just wanted to put school on the back burner, but deep in my heart, I knew that I did want to pursue a master's degree. It wasn't until August of 2016 that I actually really became serious about pursuing a master's degree. When I graduated with my bachelor's degree, June 2010, up until August of 2016, I had started and stopped a master's degree program 3 times. Now, usually, like back in the day, I would have been like, oh, I'm embarrassed to say that I started and stopped a program 3 times. But you know what? Truth is, I'm not embarrassed. It's a process. It's a big decision. And if you go in without a plan, you're bound to fail. And that's pretty much what happened. I was winging stuff. And it's just something that you learn, and throughout that process I've learned tips and tricks and suggestions to make that process easier for myself. So the first thing that I recommend is deciding why you want to go to school. That was the first thing that I need to look at. Why do I want to go to school? You know, is it a job requirement? You know, am I in a position where they're requiring me to get a higher education? Am I in a position where they're asking me to, you know, take these extra classes so that I can receive a higher salary? Like, is it something related to a job? Or am I looking for a better job? In the job market right now, a lot of the times you're able to substitute education for experience. So just for an example, you have a job, let's just say it's an administrative assistant job, and they want you to have 10 years of experience. Well, if you have a bachelor's degree, they're willing to take that bachelor's and only require you to have 3 years of experience. Or if you have a master's degree, they'll be willing to substitute that where you only have to have 1 year of experience. So is it a situation like that? Or some people just have a bucket list where they want to just say, hey, I've achieved this degree. I said that I can do it. I've done it, and just that. So I had to really sit down and decide, why am I going to school? Your why is very, very important. This is something that I suggest that you make personable, you know, not just a little thought that in your head one day, out your head the next day, but make this something personable, because your why is really going to count. It's really going to matter in the long run why you choose to go back to school. And you'll see when I come back, we're going to come back to the why statement. So once you've decided why you want to go to school, then you need to decide, what do you want to go to school for? Now, your what will depend on your why. And I say that when you figure out why you want to go to school, then you want to decide, okay, well, what is it that I really want to go to school for? Is the field in demand? You know, what I want to go to school for, is it going to be in demand 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Or is this going to be something that's going to phase out within the next 5 years and this degree is going to be useless? So you want to take your time to do some research to see what exactly is in demand. And then also you want to see, can you see yourself doing this long term? Can you see yourself maybe possibly retiring from whatever it is that you want to go to school for? Or is this something that you're going to be okay with for a couple of years, then after that you're going to want to switch to something completely different than what you went to school for? So you want to make sure that this is something that you actually have a passion for, something that fuels you. And then also you want to do some research to see what the average salary is. What is the average person making in the field that you're choosing? By any means, I'm not saying that you're going to be a billionaire from off of your job, but you want to make sure that the salary is at least going to cover your basic living needs. You don't want to spend, or you don't want to be in a situation where you spent 4 years getting a degree and now you're $25,000 in debt with school loans, and then you're only at a job where you're making $25,000 a year, and that's not even enough to cover your living expenses. So you want to see, what's the average salary? All right, so then once you've decided your why and your what, then I recommend you doing some research. I would say if you already know what you want to go to school for, I would type in on one of your local search engines. Let's just say you wanted to do nursing. Okay, so I would recommend pulling up one of your search engines and typing in top 5 nursing schools in your area. That way it can broaden and it can narrow down your search. And if you have a particular school in mind, I recommend getting out a notebook, something where you can actually jot the information down. It's important that you're able to go back and look at everything that you've researched. So I recommend getting a notebook to do like a comparison, pros and cons type list. Also, when looking at the schools, you want to consider, am I going to be going to school online? Am I going to be going on campus? You know, does my schedule allow for me to go to school on campus? Or does my lifestyle allow for me to go to school online? Do I have the discipline? Because it does require a specific discipline in order for you to go to school online and be successful. And then also you want to see what type of things do the school offer you? You know, do they have tutors that are available to help you? Do they have job placement once you graduate? You want to see what it is that the university or the college has to offer you, and you want to make sure that they're an accredited school. So I recommend writing down on your paper, going to the websites, going to the school websites, see what some of the current students are saying about the school. You know, do some reviews to see what people actually have to say about the school. And also, while you're doing this process, write down any questions that you may have. You know, if you want to do the nursing major, usually they have it where you can click on one of the classes and you can read the syllabus from the class and get an example of how the assignments may look. You know, if you have any questions that stick out to you, make sure you write those questions down. That's also going to be very important. Also, while you're doing your research, you want to make sure you take a look at the cost of the school. Going back to school will have a major impact on you, so you want to make sure that you're ready for it. You want to look at things like, okay, am I going to be paying for this out of pocket? Is this really something that I can fit in my budget? Do they have work study options? Am I able to do work study? Also, does my job offer things like tuition reimbursement? Will I be taking out student loans? You want to make sure you look at the cost of these schools, look at the cost of how much each credit is. You want to get that information, and you also want to write down any questions that you have regarding financial aid. This is something that's going to impact your wallet, so you want to make sure you write down all questions. And know that there's no such thing as a stupid question. The only stupid question is the ones that you don't ask, that after you get off the phone you're like, man, I should have asked that, man. So make sure you ask all kinds of questions. Write down your questions. Even if they seem very small, write down your questions. Now, once you have compiled all of this information, like I said, I recommend narrowing it down to 2 to 3 schools that really interest you. And once you've had a chance to do your own personal research on the schools and you've written down all of your questions that you have, then I recommend that you make the call and have your notebook available with you when you make the call. That way you can ask all of your questions. These counselors that answer the phone, they are trained and there to help you. They are there to assist you through this process, to answer any questions that you have, to address any concerns that you may have. Maybe you're like, well, you know, I'm a single mother and I have this going on and I have that going on. Do you really think this is something that I can maintain? Or, you know, just any questions that you have, make sure you answer those questions. They're there to assist you. And once you've done that, throughout that process, you'll get a feel of maybe this is something that I will go ahead and pursue. Maybe this is not the right time, or this is the school for me. Now, once you've reached that point, then you get to the enrollment process. This is probably maybe one of the smoothest process because the counselors are there to help you every step of the way. Anything that you need, they're excited and glad that you've chose to go to their school. So anything that you need, they're going to be more than willing to assist you with that. Now, once you've completed the enrollment process, this is where I say you need to actually write out your why statement. Your why statement is going to be your motivation. It's going to be your encouragement. It's going to be there to pick you up on those days where you're like, man, what was I thinking going back to school at my age? Or man, I don't even know why I thought I could balance another thing on my plate with everything that I have going on. But when you make your why statement personable, when you make it something that is truly important to you and you've written it down, on those days where you feel like giving up, you can go back and you can pick up your why statement and read it over and over again to uplift you and to encourage you and motivate you to get back in the game. You have to remember why you started. If your why is not big enough, then you won't be consistent in it. You have to remember your why. So that's why I say make it personable, because you're going to need it on some days. You really will. Also, after you've done that, I say be selective of who you share your great news with. Not everyone had that same epiphany or aha moment that you did, that it was time for you to go back to school. No one was in your thought process. No one was in, no one experienced those feelings in the same manner that you did. So just be careful who you share your great news with. Not everyone is going to be happy for you. Not everyone is going to be as excited for you. So you want to make sure that you surround yourself with positive people. You want to make sure that you surround yourself with those people who are also going to uplift you and motivate you. So just be selective, because a lot of times you get so happy and you get so excited to share your great news and you're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to tell such and such. I finally do it. I'm finally doing it. I'm finally going back to school, even though this is my 4th time. And then you get to that person and you all excited and you can't wait to tell them. And then when you tell them, you're like, oh, so you trying to go back to school again? Then you try to do that already? I thought it ain't work out for you. I thought you said you want. And then those words there can kill someone's spirit. You can take someone from 100 to 0 real quick with that kind of attitude and those kind of responses. And then that person will find themselves going back home like, well, she is right. I did try it 3 times before and it didn't work out. Maybe she right. Maybe he right. Maybe I don't need to go back to school. Maybe I am just wasting my time. And then you'll get yourself into a situation where you'll get into a phone and it's not necessary. If you believe that it's time and if you have done the necessary steps and you feel like it's okay, then go for it. Go for it. How does a baby learn how to walk? They have to get up and fall several times before they get it right. So maybe you didn't get it right on the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd try, but that doesn't mean that you can't get it right on the next try. So be selective what you share your news with. Be selective, and there's nothing wrong with it. And don't let anyone make you feel bad about being selective about who you share your great news with. And then lastly, I would say it's an optional thing, but record your journey, you know, whether it be through writing a journal or even making personal videos, but record your journey. I'm a firm believer that everything that we do in life, we're not only doing for ourselves, but we're doing it for someone else. Someone else needs to see you succeed. Someone else in a similar situation as you need to see that, hey, okay, if she made it and she had this going on and that going on, and if she was able to make it, then I know I can do it. A lot of times with motivation and encouragement, people just want to see somebody else do it. They want to see somebody similar to them do it, and that's where their hope comes from. But if you're looking at someone who's always had everything, your mindset, not saying for everyone, but a lot of times when you're looking at people who have everything, or when you're looking at people already at the top, you're like, man, there's no way in the world I could do that. There's no way in the world I can do that. But if you see their starting point, if you see where they started from, you're like, wow, I didn't know he had all that going on. I didn't know she had went through all of that. So when people see someone similar to them making it, succeeding, being successful, sometimes that's more than words can ever speak. May 25th of 2017, I enrolled back into Grand Canyon University for a master's in psychology with the emphasis in life coaching. So those 4 classes that I took did apply towards my degree. And since then, I have taken 2 classes. I will be going into my 3rd class, which will just leave me with 3 classes left before I graduate. So now I have an expected graduation day of April of 2018, right around the corner. And it's just been amazing. It's been great. I'm really excited. So anything that you put your mind to, best believe you can do it. If you have a plan, you can do it. Not saying that some days the plan won't change. Not saying that some days you'll be like, okay, why on earth did I do this? Refer back to that why statement. And I've had to do that multiple times. Like, okay, pep talk time. Girl, who you doing this for? Okay, now get yourself together. You're doing too much, you know? So if you have to pep talk yourself, then do that. But just most importantly, remember why you're doing it. Remember why you're doing this. All right, guys. So I will be sharing my journey with you guys as I complete this graduate degree. Well, excuse me, as I complete this master's degree. I'll be sharing my journey with you guys. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I'm not an expert, but I'll be more than happy to answer, any questions that I'm able to. If you have any tips or suggestions that you would like to add on or you would like to share, then please do that. Leave that in the comment below. Sharing is caring. All right, guys, I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching.